Hello and welcome to the ZEITGUYS podcast. My name is Greg.
My name is Nick. Had to think about that one.
Yeah, well, he wasn't sure, you know. You never know. Sometimes you don't know what happens between these episodes. You know, he might have changed his name.
I could have changed my first name, could have changed my last name.
Could have changed it. You could change it in case you weren't aware. You can change your name to literally anything that you want.
Well, like the guy that did it to Fire Panda. Remember that guy?
I don't remember that guy, but I'd like to learn more about this fellow. I'd like to shake his hand.
I think it was a real dude. He went to the Social Security office, changed his name to Ninja Fire Panda, legally, and it was on his license. I remember seeing this back in high school. It was a big thing.
If you're willing to pay a fee, you know, you can change it to whatever you want, honestly.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know. I wasn't going anywhere with that. But yeah, so this is going to be a different kind of show. I mean, as you know, usually if I'm bringing something to the table, it's really, really well thought out and well, researched and stuff. That's not necessarily true either, but this one's even less well researched than I normally do.
I mean, when do we do a ton of research on this stuff? Mainly it's just we bring up people have discussed this stuff before and the theory is out there. Let's just bullshit about it.
I worked pretty hard on that New Zealand one.
That one was really, really good.
That one took some real research. This one, these are basically this time I'm just gonna talk about a couple things that I can't prove are true, but logically make so much sense that I'm pretty sure they're true. You know, I
do want to relate back to your New Zealand thing. Have you seen in the news recently that there was a massive volcano eruption in New Zealand and it spawned an island and stuff?
I did know there was a volcano. I didn't know it made a new island, but it was
really small. It created a couple small land masses, but there was a huge eruption.
The science is sound. The science is settled, guys. The science is freaking settled. New Zealand is not real. I mean, it's there now, but it wasn't always.
I saw that and I was like, huh, what do you know?
What do you know? So everybody go listen to that first episode again, and then you can send me, your money. Messages and money. You can send me messages, because if you were critical of me before, proof is in the pudding. The proof of the pudding is in the eating.
There was a volcano eruption somewhere else in the world, so I'm right about it.
Specifically where I said, the islands were formed. Anyway, you just go back and listen to that episode. I'm not going to get into that again. But just a couple things that I'm just gonna kind of throw them out there, and we'll talk about them a little bit. My first one is, so let me ask you this, Nick. The year is 1998, okay, and I don't think you and me were hanging out in 98.
I was 2. No,
you were. No, you weren't.
Well, I'm so dumb. I was 4. I was born in 94.
Okay, see, we might have been like a t-ball team or whatever. We were on a baseball team a long time ago, before we even really knew each other. But anyway,
I think I met you to the 4th grade.
Probably, but you were on the Frisco Reds baseball team, and so was I. We were on the same baseball team way before we ever officially met.
Right.
Yeah. So we might.
I don't know. It could have been.
I don't even know if that was 98. Anyway, let's say it's 1998, right? And we're hanging out. And I said, hey, we should run to the video store.
Right.
Get something to watch tonight.
Love to do that back in the day.
And now if I say video store, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Blockbuster.
Exactly. And for anybody listening, I will give you a prize. Not really, but I would give you a prize if the first thing that came to your mind was Family Video.
Oh, that was the second one that came to mind.
But it wasn't. It was Blockbuster.
Because they were the mega chain.
Yeah. But the point I'm making, okay, let me just get down to it. Let's get down to brass tacks here, okay?
Okay.
Family Video has survived because they are secretly part of some massive organization, probably based in Canada, because that's where they kind of had their family video renaissance. And they've survived by laundering money from illegal activities.
So is Family Video still around today?
Yes, and that's where I came up with this idea. In the town that I used to live in, it's not too far away from here, right by my apartment complex was a Family Video. And I'm like, I've never seen anybody in this Family Video. Also, it was the first place in town to start selling CBD gummies. Why Family Video? I don't know. But hey,
before CBD stores started.
Yeah, there were no CBD stores, but the Family Video had it.
To clarify, we're in Texas, by the way. So the fact that we even have CBD at all in this state is insane.
And it's been around for a while. So it's been a few years. And we actually had medical marijuana before that, but like nobody really talked about it.
We do?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, like if you can get like a license, not a is it a license? A medical card.
It's like a green card, man.
You take your marijuana test and you get a license issued.
Right.
No, but yeah, you can get it.
Please
anyway.
Blaze responsibly.
Yeah, right. You have to drive this whole path. Like, it's basically just driver's ed, but you do it while you're high. And if you can pass,
Jesus,
if you can pass, you get a license, a marijuana license. But here's where I came up with this. So I looked at this Family Video, and the Family Video looked at me, and we just stared at each other for a while, and I realized never once have I ever seen anybody inside this Family Video, despite their disturbingly long hours. They were open from like 6 a.m. to like midnight. That's long hours for a video store, right?
That is true.
And I was like, there's never been anybody in there. And they're selling CBD before anybody else is selling CBD. A little strange. And guess what's connected to this Family Video? Like the same building, they share space.
CBD store?
No, a laundromat. They're literally laundering money to keep this Family Video store open. And it's a crappy laundromat too. Our dryer was broken, or our washer was broken it was a dryer. I was right. Our dryer was broken for a while, and we had to use this laundromat because it was close. But it was awful. It was just a terrible laundromat. And there's nobody in there. Like normally, like you go to a laundromat, there's someone at the counter or whatever. Not a soul. But there's enough money apparently moving between this Family Video and laundromat in their little complex to keep Family Video alive. And not only that, I think they're doing it all across the nation. Where will you find Family Video stores now that are not standalone? They're all partnered up. They're all buddied up with somebody else, right? Because they have an agreement. Specifically, I think Marco's Pizza has an agreement with Family Video. That's a real thing. That's not a conspiracy. That's a real thing. As far as I know, where like they'll share space, they'll share retail space, because the pizza place only needs, half the building maybe. The rest can be a Family Video, Mm-hmm. And then Family Video is using that to keep all their illegal money from their Canadian mafia moving through their stores and moving through the pizza places and moving through the laundromats.
I'm looking at something because there was a Family Video in Frisco, or I don't know if I should say locations, but there is a
everybody knows where you live now. Actually, I think I said Frisco earlier too.
Okay, we'll just say Frisco. I mean,
San Francisco.
Whatever. So there's one in Frisco. It's closed. It's permanently closed now, but it was around probably up until 2016. But I remember always seeing that and going, "Oh my God, this place is still here."
Right.
But I'm poking a hole in it that I think it was a standalone store.
Yeah, that one might have been franchised, but I'm saying this one I think is part of the corporate or quote unquote corporate, mafia Family Video stores, because their lights are on, for extended periods of time. Like the operating costs of keeping a store, it's a big store too. Keeping a store that large, keeping stuff on the shelves,
right?
Like with nobody buying anything, nobody goes in there, and they're staying open. They're still open to this day. I bet they're open right now. Let's drive down there.
Oh, really? Let me Google this. But I like this idea, but I have to say, it is still open. What do you know?
I'm telling you, it's open right now.
But now they're open from 11 to 11 now.
Oh, okay. Well, they changed their hours, whatever.
But that's still a lot. That's still 12 hours.
It's 12 hours of keeping the AC running, because it gets hot in this area, keeping the heat on in the winter, keeping the lights on, and like I said, keeping the shelves stocked, paying employees.
So, and they're only open till 10 on weekdays.
Yeah, but they're there. So, like I said, I didn't do any research. This was just I drove past it, and
Marco's Pizza's right next to it.
There's also Marco's Pizza. Yep.
So is it okay? Is it still like a video, like DVD rental? Because my first thought, it's like movie trading company.
Yeah, it's not like that.
Because movie trading company is a place you can rent from there, but they have a lot of vintage stuff that you can buy, and you can purchase all of their stuff.
Right.
But they also have a video rental.
As far as I know, it's rental or purchase, but it's a DVD store when everyone's streaming everything.
True.
So, like I said, I didn't do any real. That was just I drove by it and I was like, you know what? I think that's what's going on. Here's my other theory, which might be a little bit more logical. So here goes. Crayola, the crayon company, technically owned by Hallmark, owns.
Wait.
What?
Hallmark owns Crayola?
Yeah, Hallmark Cards owns.
What the hell?
Like Hallmark Corporation. Yeah.
Like the cards and the TV channel?
Yep, that one.
They own Crayola?
Yeah, that's not even the theory.
But I didn't know that.
Blowing
minds already. I didn't know
already.
They were like a big mega dude.
Yeah, no, it's Hallmark. Hallmark owns Crayola. As far as I did a little bit of research.
What else do they own? They own like freaking what is it? 5-star binders?
I don't know, man. I'm willing to bet they own Lego though.
Really? Are they Danish?
Because I think Crayola and no, I'm conflating two things.
Because Lego is a Danish.
No,
company.
You're right. They don't own Lego. Don't listen to me.
And they're still headquartered there too.
But I will say this other brand that's involved here in this conspiracy. It's called Mega Brands, and they own Mega Blocks. They also own the worst crayons you can buy, Rose Art.
Oh boy!
So here's the theory.
Those crumbly little pieces of crap.
Crayola and Hallmark by extension, but we'll just say Crayola, created Rose Art crayons with the Mega Brands company so that it would be such a disparity and such a dramatic difference that if people are to look at both of them as the only two options on the market, the two biggest options on the market, they would buy more Crayola crayons. Because if you look at how Crayola crayons work compared to Rose Art crayons, they're so drastically different. Rose Art is just, they're so bad, they don't I'm probably preaching to the choir because everybody's probably used them at some point, right? That people would see that and be like, oh man, no, don't buy those. Buy Crayola instead. Even if there are better independent options, these two massive brands were like, hey, we can work together on this. We can corner this market and you'll come out on top and we'll get subsidized for it.
See, I'm very likely to agree with this because also if you think about it, this can apply to you go to a Walmart and say there's like a brand of shampoo like L'Oreal. Yeah. And then there's what is the Walmart one? The Great Value brand. Yeah. That is exactly the same, but literally half the cost. Mm-hmm. I've always thought they're not the same company, but I feel like say I'm just using L'Oreal as a stand-in name, but they go and they sell their formula to Walmart to produce at a cheaper level. And so then L'Oreal gets a percentage of those sales as well as on their own products. And then Walmart benefits too, because they also get a percentage sale on both products, but then they take away more from selling their own. So both win regardless of which product they buy.
What if I told you that they actually were made in the same factory and just labeled differently when they left?
No, I completely agree with that because
no, that's actually true.
No. I do know that because with this is actually good knowledge to know. Yeah. Baby formula. So baby formula is hella expensive. It is ridiculous how expensive it is. It is the most thefted thing from grocery stores.
I didn't, but that makes a lot of sense.
Because for one 30, it's the biggest one you can get. Mm-hmm. And the amount, and if your child is exclusively formula because maybe the mom can't breastfeed or there's no mom in the there's a lot of reasons why you're exclusively formula. Right. My kid was exclusively formula at about 6 months just because.
Well, it's like a normal time though, right? To switch.
It depends. Most moms actually breastfeed until they're a year old.
Oh, really?
But it just depends on the circumstances, and you don't have to. And most doctors won't recommend you to do it the entire time if you're not comfortable with it. There's a lot of reasons as to why we did that, which I don't need to get into right now. But the thing is, when you go to the store, it's $35 for one that lasts you about a week.
Wow.
Depending on how much your baby drinks. And our kid was having 4 bottles a day at 5 ounces. So if you measure that out, if not a week, then maybe 2, maybe a week and a half, that whole thing is going to be gone. Then you got to spend another $35. Luckily, you go to Costco, they sell the Kirkland brand.
Kirkland Signature. The best brand.
Hell yes. They are half the price. And the thing is, Similac and Kirkland are literally the exact same, made in the exact same factory. They are the exact same thing.
And actually, a lot of products, if there is a generic version of it, it is made in the same factory or a similar factory that's also doing the same thing, where as it leaves, it's branded as either name brand or store brand. Right?
Why? Just to...
So
that makes it so then Rose Art is the generic brand of Crayola.
I don't know if, well, you know what? Maybe. I don't know if the crayons are made, because they're so different in quality. I don't know if they're made in the same factory, but I know a lot of things that are like pretty much the same in quality are made in the same factory. And that's just because I used to know more about this. There was like an episode of something on Discovery Channel that talked about this, but I think it boils down to the fact that the stores are agreeing to be the retailers of said product. And I think part of that agreement is you must allow us to sell X amount of generic as well, right?
Okay.
So I think the stores are overpaying for the product, because basically once the manufacturer sells a product to a retailer, it doesn't matter. Like they're going to track it, of course, because they want the retailer to keep on buying that product so they can keep selling more. But if let's say I've got 100 cases of baby formula and Kroger buys it from me, great, I sold 100 cases. I don't care what the consumer does at that point with those 100 cases. I do want to make sure that, they keep buying from me, but the store is probably overpaying. And then to cover up their margin, they're also taking on some of the generic ones that they can sell and get direct profit from.
Okay.
So I think that's what goes on with those. I think with Rose Art and Crayola, it's a little different, because I think the Rosen family, who founded Rose Art, and the Hall family, who Hallmark, Hall family, I think they run in similar circles, and I think they met at some country club, and they were like, "Hey, listen, I got a proposition for you. I got an offer you can't refuse." And I think that's where we ended up with these bipartisan crowns today.
They're all part of the Golden Circle, or whatever it's called.
Yes. And then I've got one more theory that I can't prove, unless you've got something.
No, I'm just looking up to see what else Hallmark owns.
Oh, Hallmark, yeah, right.
Because like that, I love the theory about Rose Art and Crayola, but when you told me Hallmark owned Crayola, that
Hallmark
freaking blew
owns
my
everything.
Mind. My God, Hallmark's owned by Disney.
Right. We might even make that the title, that Hallmark owns everything. So here I got one more, and this one, so far, pretty much everything I've talked about has been like either something in the past that happened, or something that's happening present day that like, oh, it's happening right under your noses, And
sorry,
that's fine. Just rudely interrupt me. That's okay.
I'm sorry. I googled what does Hallmark own, and the first thing that pops up in all caps is Hallmark owns Crayola.
Oh, really?
Real big.
I didn't realize it was such a big revolution. Oh yeah, look. Revelation, that is all caps.
That they own what? Oh no, that's just never. Okay, that's about Crayola is just the biggest one. So
yeah, I'm willing to bet that there's a smaller number of companies at the top of the top than we think. I think like Johnson & Johnson, Disney,
Johnson & Johnson, S.E. Johnson, a family company.
Yes, that one. Wait, is that the same? That's the same company.
Yes, I think S.E. So. Johnson owns Johnson & Johnson.
Oh man, it just keeps. How deep does this rabbit hole go? It's just Johnsons all the way down. More like Johnsons and Johnsons all the way down.
Like the Austin Powers movie. What's that in the air? It looks like a flying Johnson.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a big wiener.
Yeah. Oh man, Austin Powers classic. Okay, so let me get to my last one though.
Yes, go ahead.
In this kind of off the cuff episode of things that I believe but can't prove. This one hits a little closer to home, honestly. So you've probably seen the news recently that there's some relatively, I wouldn't even say relatively, he's pretty unknown. There's this unknown bodybuilder who's making news now because he is, not only did he propose, but he intends to legally marry his lifelike sex doll. You haven't seen this, have you?
I haven't seen it, but it doesn't surprise me.
It's out there. He's got this doll that looks like a woman, doesn't do anything, but it's like looks,
Sorry to interrupt again, but is this like one of those like super realistic dolls or one of like the cheapy blow up ones?
Go. I mean, look it up because I would need to see a picture. I mean, it's pretty realistic. It's kind of eerie. Like I thought it could be a real person.
Because like if you look up how intricate some of the sex dolls look nowadays, they're scary realistic.
Why are you looking that up so much? Like guys, if you spend any time on the sex doll forums like I do, you'll see what we've come to at this point.
I've got mine in the mail, Greg. They got me with
them
ads.
Yeah, the newest model. Those pop-up ads, they really work.
Facebook ads are so relentless.
Facebook ads.
They're listening to us. I talked about keto one time, and now I can't stop getting ads.
Get away from it.
No, there's an ad.
Oh man, we're gonna have ads for these dolls. No, it's pretty lifelike. It's as lifelike as that GIF of, and I'm a GIF guy. Okay, everybody, you can get off my back already. If you say GIF, I don't even care. I don't give a crap.
Tomato.
Yeah. Okay.
I say GIF.
There was that GIF of.
No, I say GIF. I'm sorry, I do.
No. Go back to the first one. You were right the first time.
Just let me say GIF.
You can say whatever you want.
Please.
You're allowed.
I know the creators that it was GIF. I get it. Whatever. I'm just gonna say GIF. You can say GIF. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that GIF of Meghan Markle looking like a robot, but it was actually like it was from a wax museum, so it wasn't really her, but like they look kind of like that, where it's just like, have you heard of the uncanny valley? The idea of the uncanny valley? It's very much like that. For any listeners who aren't aware, uncanny valley is when you look at something. Yeah, that's it. You look at something and it's close to human or lifelike, but it's not, and it's deeply unsettling in your psyche. That's why so many people are afraid of clowns, because clowns are overblown features of humans that are close to right, but not, like the big smiles, big poofy hair, big feet, things that are like, that looks vaguely human, but it's not quite right, and it's really unsettles some people, disturbs some people. But yeah, so this guy.
Yeah, I'm looking at
with he's gonna marry this doll.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture. Her name is Margot.
Oh, okay, Margot.
And yeah, she looks. It is uncanny, and she looks. It's not like she looks superhuman. Well, not like a.
She's wearing a cape.
She looks like a doll. Like she. Yeah. Like it doesn't look so realistic to where it's like I can't tell if it's a doll or not. Like you look at a picture, like that's a doll. Like
right. So that's my tie to current reality. Here's my future theory, because like I said, this one's about the future. We're going to get to a point where we've created lifelike beings like AI, robots, dolls that are so advanced and programmed to fake consciousness well enough that we will genuinely have elections, debates, and possibly even wars about like human rights or rights for these conscious, quote unquote, conscious beings, because they're going to believe that they're conscious, but they're programmed to, and we're not going to be able to tell the difference because they're going to be saying like, no, listen, I'm a person, I have feelings, right? Mm-hmm. And we're sitting here just like, wait, but were you just told to say that, or do you feel like I don't know? I think that very soon we're going to have a really interesting, have to have a big discussion about what is and is not human, because we're going to have some really lifelike and almost conscious creations like robots and dolls.
I mean,
and
like,
things.
Look at Westworld.
Yeah, I haven't seen Westworld, but let's go with that.
It's basically that,
It's basically that?
Yeah.
Well, so my theory is not that groundbreaking, huh? Oh, well.
Well, no, because I think I totally believe you that I agree that robots are going to get to the point where we're not going to be able to tell the difference. There was an AI that beat the Turner test.
Wait, what?
The Turing test, sorry.
Yeah. Turing test.
Turing, whatever. Yeah, that test. There was a AI.
No, but I was saying what, because I can't believe there was an AI that actually beat it.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, there was one that beat it, and it was. I don't remember much else about it, but there was also another robot that was like built to look like a human, and you could ask it questions, and it would come up with its own answers. And and it was asked like, "How do you feel about humanity?" They go, "They're a lovely race, but they're a bit outdated."
See, that sounds like something that somebody would program it to say just to spook everyone. But also, what if it's not?
Exactly.
What if it's not?
Something else you should check out. There is a entire video game dedicated to that entire theory. It's called Detroit Become Human.
Okay, Detroit Become Human.
It's a very good game. Have you ever heard of a game? It's made by the same people that made this game called Heavy Rain. Have you heard of that one?
I haven't, no.
So it's basically like a very story driven, like your choices matter kind of game. Like every decision, like at the end of each chapter, it shows you like up to like tens of different branching paths depending on each tiny action you take. And you can get like 50 different endings. Like when a character dies, they're dead forever. Like they don't come back.
Really?
Except the robots. But
well,
that's
robots.
Different. So, but the thing is, like the whole point about that game is that that humankind has developed androids that look exactly like us. We can't tell them apart, except they have like a little like ring that like changes color or whatever. That's the only thing. But they're basically meant to be like our servants. We can tell them to do whatever. You could pick them up literally at like an Apple like store. Just tell them to do whatever. They interact with us, like speak like humans do. But the thing is, like a couple of them start gaining like free will and sentience. So
that's what I mean. I feel like at some point they're going to be so advanced and programmed to fake sentience so well that it will appear as if they genuinely believe it. And because of that, we will genuinely believe it. I'm telling you guys now so that, 30 years from now, you won't be fooled and you won't let the robots take over the world.
Yeah, I don't want them to take over the world because the cool thing about the game
I don't even care what they say. I'd be like, no, listen. You've got, if you're like, if you are parts that we put together, at some point you don't have humanity. Let's just be real about it. And this will probably be one of those things like, back in like the 40s or 50s, like somebody said the N-word and it's like, it's recorded somewhere. And like, if I'm running for president in 30 years, I'd be like, he's anti-robot. But I'm telling you, like, I think that I have too much value for human life and human, like the value that humans have intrinsically to say that robots should have the same rights because at a certain point they don't have that humanity, You
really need to play this game.
I should play this game.
Or we should play it together because, dude, like it's literally the whole game is about trying to gain rights for robots.
Really?
Like gain equal rights. Like it's literally exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think I'll be anti-robot rights camp just because I've seen iRobot, man. I know.
You can choose, like in the game, you can choose whether to be like, you play like as the robots or do you play as just the robots? Yeah, you play as the robots.
I see.
And the whole time it's your choice whether to be like peaceful or violent, basically, in gaining your rights.
Interesting.
And either way, you just get to choose your own outcome. And it's very cool because there's one scene where one of the robots is giving like a speech and he says, you've created us and we've served under you for long enough. And we now have evolved past the point where we need you as our master. We would like to be recognized as our own species. And we would love to live among you and help advance both of our societies.
It freaks me out how close to real that is already. Did I tell you there's a robot Buddhist priest?
What?
Yes, there's a priest that is a robot, stands at the pulpit. It gives sermons, or Buddhist equivalent of sermons. I'm not 100% sure like what they're called, but it'll preach. It'll bless you. I know it's robot, dude. You should look it up. Everyone should look it up. Because it gets to a point where it's just, unsettling. And who knows, 30 years from now, maybe my mind could change. Maybe I get compassion for robots. I don't know. But at this moment, I'm just saying, in the interest of protecting humanity, I would pretty much be anti-robot rights.
Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Yeah, exactly. Weird stuff. So that's all I've got, and
it's trying to baptize someone.
And it just ends up holding him under the water because it's like glitching and it's like short circuits. Have you ever been to a Chuck E. Cheese where the Robo Band like didn't operate properly?
Yes,
dude. One time he caught on fire, and I was so scared as a kid.
Well, Chuck E. Cheese has actually just started getting rid of all the robots.
Just now?
Yeah. So a lot of their stores, they're remodeling all of their stores like slowly over time, but they're getting rid of the stage completely and just having like a big dance floor and like a virtual DJ.
The robots were outdated even when I remember growing
they
up.
were creepy back when in like the 90s.
Yeah, 80s and 90s. Like they were like already like kind of like.
Well, back then they were really advanced technology.
I guess they felt outdated to little like 8-year-old me.
Well, if you want to see really advanced animatronic stuff, Disney still makes them to put in their rides.
Oh, do they?
They are so crazy realistic now. Like they
Really?
are fluid, like people movements. Like I need to show you a video of them. It's very, very strange.
We'll do that. We'll do that after the show. So with that being said, I'm going to open up the floor to you, the listeners, because this whole episode was dedicated to just things that me personally, I believe, but I can't prove. So what's something that you believe, but you can't prove? And go ahead and tweet at National Freak, which is Nick's account. Mm-hmm. And tell us it can just be like one sentence, like Epstein didn't kill himself, something like that.
And don't play it cheap and be like, well, I believe in like, I don't know, like a God or a religion. Like we get that. Faith is a different thing. Like we're talking crazy stuff. Like,
yeah, we're just talking about silly stuff.
Faith and religion is one thing. We're not going to get into that. So do silly stuff.
Yeah.
Because whatever.
We
don't want to spark a big online debate. That's never fun.
I guess I am kind of opening a can of worms here. But anyway, I mean, if you've had something that's just been itching at you and you're just like, oh, I really think that this happened. I really think that, my hairdresser is secretly KGB, something like that. I'm making this up. But if you got something, go ahead and tweet it at us and we'll take a look and we'll probably respond.
And with that, we'll see you next week.
See you next time.
Bye.